Brilliant from Kennedy. Couldn't resist the shot, and it's gone in off the defender!
Determined, you lose your little player. And it's in, it's a goal from Gilmour. Jimmy Gilmour has scored for Falkirk.
Finnegan's cross, Stephen Thompson! Falkirk have the lead after a quarter of an hour.
McKenzie slips, it goes straight to McGuffey. McGuffey shoots from his own half, and that is incredible!
He's taking them all on here. Catch him if you can. You can't. That is amazing. That is phenomenal. A touch of individual inspiration from Kevin McAllister.
This is Falkirk Daft
with Haldane Construction Services.
Hello and welcome once again to Falkirk Daft, and we are as rough as a wedding reception down at the Warriors Social Club. We were in hospitality. What a shock for Ross Wayne, in hospitality, spotted again. And he's with me today, feeling just about as rough, Ross.
Tired, mate, yeah, thank you. Sunday night's always a bit tired anyway, but even more so after a long day yesterday. And it was a long day, but it turned out a really, really good day as well.
It was a cracking day. We went into hospitality, as ever. The club treated us really, really well, and there was a special edition in the hospitality in the fact that someone had put up Rospitality and actually said Ross's usual seat in hospo. That was
a nice wee touch. Fair play. I don't know which.
I think I know who it was that did it, and I think I've got my suspicions who did that, but I won't grass them in. There was another thing. You met your hero, Ross. Now, I had never heard of this guy, the Padded Seat, who is a guy who basically travels the country and reviews hospitality for a living. He has a YouTube channel, the Padded Seat. We were chatting away to him, and he's like your hero. It was like the king meeting the prince of hospitality.
He's a really good guy. I never actually assumed we'd ever see him at a Falkirk game, to be honest, but luck would have it that he was in Scotland this weekend and chose to review Falkirk. So yeah, it was great to meet him. Shout out to, I don't know if he did say he was going to give us a listen, so I don't know if it'll be this week's or last week's, but shout out to Kyle. He does a cracking job there. If anyone's interested in that type of thing at all, it sounds a bit boring, but he's quite a quirky.
It sounds a bit boring. You love it.
Well, I do, but yeah, it's my version of, like, I don't know,
porn
or something. He goes round the world. Actually, it's not just the UK. He goes round the world reviewing sort of sport.
I know he was telling us he was at the Spurs Chelsea game, which was during the week, which was an absolute cracking game, and then he was at that game yesterday, at the Dunfermline game on Friday night as well.
Yeah, that's a bit of
what a journey. And he was at the Bowls as well in Livingston, doing hospitality at the Bowls.
I think that was his main reason for being in Scotland, to be honest. I think they had him up, and he then decided to take in a few Scottish games. So fair play to him for coming along. And I don't think he's put the Falkirk video out yet. So if anybody's interested, though, it's at Padded Seat on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. However, as John says, he's got a YouTube channel that has the slightly longer videos, and he's visited hundreds and hundreds of different sporting venues. So give him a watch if you can.
No, absolutely. And thanks to Stevie Jackson, who, if you've been in hospitality before, does a cracking job. In fact, I think he was ready to hand over the job to Ross yesterday because he's obviously been in so much. You usually get the spiel for Stevie at the start of the match when you go into the boardroom, talks about the trophies and all that sort of stuff. And it looks like they're doing quite a bit up there. The Heritage Trust have certainly had a lot of, the Business Club helped them out, and they're making big differences to the lounges there, Ross.
Yeah, it's all coming together really, really, really well, and they're not finished. So as Stevie said, the boxes are all done. The Alec Parker Lounge is now done as well. The last couple of things they're going to do, I think he mentioned something about the Brockville Lounge, and then the boardroom itself. They're going to be creating different sections within the boardroom that's going to be for trophies from obviously having won the league or cup competitions, and then I think he said was pre-season tours or friendlies, that type of thing. So it all sounds really, really interesting, and yeah, huge shout out to the guys at the Heritage Trust and the Business Club, who I think helped them with the finance for it. So but yeah, if anybody can get themselves along to one of the many options how you can do hospitality. It doesn't have to be something massively expensive. I think for these cup games coming up, I think they have hospitality for 40 or starts at 40 or pounds or something like that. So give it a look if you can.
I had a total beamer yesterday, I have to admit. We went for the paid bar option, so it was like obviously try and get as much drink. Ross was like that, tried to do a double round, was denied, absolutely denied. However, I was told that they take the wine and stuff away from the table. So I thought, I'm not having that. We're paid for the wine, we'll get that. So I had a bottle of wine under the table, and I went in at half time and it was gone. So they obviously clocked it. What a beamer. I was like, oh no.
Obviously been there, done that, got the t-shirt, haven't they? So
but we got wine at the end anyway, so it was great, treated us brilliantly and had a great time.
They did, John, and I think I know we're not going to go too much into detail because we don't know all the details, but they did so in terms of the staff. They did so with an extra situation going on, didn't they? So there was unfortunately a Bairns fan taken unwell during the first half, which then led to quite a busy couple of hours then for the staff and the stewards and stuff. So a massive shout out to them, but obviously our thoughts are with the Bairns fan who's hopefully recovering as well as they can.
Fingers crossed. It was a scary couple of moments, that, so fingers crossed. Thoughts and prayers obviously with the family. Got to put a shout out to our sponsor Ross, who joined us in hospitality yesterday. We led Peter from Haldane Construction a little bit awry. We took him up the town afterwards to the Queen Sheaf. He thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you very much to his beautiful wife Marie, who gave me a lift home at the end of the night. So thank you, Marie, for giving me a lift home. I was just like, I'll get out of here, and they're like, no, we'll take you home, because they live beyond. But thanks so much for that. And obviously Haldane Construction are our sponsors this season. We're talking to Peter, we kept going on about the swimming pool, and the fact he'd put in a swimming pool once, and loads of great stuff happening at the company. They've been in the Celtic about for over 2 decades, so if you're looking for a project to get done, speak to Peter and the team, doing loads in the community. We were talking about that yesterday as well, how much he's put in and how much he's loving being involved with Falkirk. He's really put a load into the club this season, so we thanks Peter and his team for doing so. And remember, if you're looking for like any projects you've got, speak to the guys. They'll sort you out. They've got a collaborative approach to everything. They'll keep you in touch, and quality and loyalty is at the heart of the business. That's the most important thing. So get them at haldaneconstruction.co.uk. Get them on Insta, Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook, or pop Peter an email, info@haldaneconstruction.co.uk. Back on hospital, I see they're doing a ladies' day. It's the one time you won't get into hospitality, Ross.
No, I don't know what date it is, but yeah, I'm sure I'm not in that day. But I noticed we didn't get asked to host this one. Dave Max got this gig. So where was our chat about?
I know I'd quite happily hosted that.
Dave Max, don't get me wrong,
obviously the Ginger God of Pod himself, an absolute pin-up. So you should be hosting ladies' day. Give the ladies a treat. Give them what they want.
It's a treat for the ears and the eyes, isn't it? So, but no, fair play to Dave Mack. He's a fantastic DJ as well. I think as well as hosting him, I think he's DJing it as well. So, but yeah, hopefully that I see it was planned by not just the club, but people who had went to the last ladies' day. So they've helped sort of form this one and what's going to happen and how it's all going to take place. So if there is anybody listening who does want to go through and get involved at the ladies' day, they're on sale now, aren't they, John?
Yep, there you go. 70. You can get them all the details at the club. I think it's £75 happening against Game of Montrose on the 3rd of February. All the usual stuff: VIP parking, 2-course meal, half-time tea and coffee, all that sort of stuff, and a bit of a party hosted by the one, the only Dave Mack. So he'll be on that. So get all the details on the Falkirk website. John McGuinn and Finn Yates for our monthly awards. Finn getting Player of the Month and John McGuinn getting the Manager of the Month yet again. And luckily that Manager of the Month curse has not hit us as of yet, so we got the win yesterday, and John obviously always gets pictures. I think it's a kind of done thing that the whole backroom staff get a picture taken now, but yeah, Finn Yates, Player of the Month, do you think?
For me, yeah, Mr. Consistent. There's a strong argument that he's player of the season so far, which is a big, big shout when you think how amazing Tom Lang's been, Brad Spencer's been, Callum Morrison, Aggie Man, Ross McKeever. There's the list is long. However, Finn, I know I said this last week. I think he must be one of the first names on the team sheet just now. He's undroppable. So not surprised that the fans of given him it. In terms of John McGlynn, obviously that's the league sponsor that gives the award there. What was amazing though, and you just said it, is like obviously again you got the team, the full backroom staff getting involved. Did you notice Tony Begg?
Yes,
in that picture as well, who we had on a couple of weeks back. And as we should have done at the time, we probably should have had a conversation with him about his involvement in the backroom, because he has been getting involved since the start of the season. I think with one thing or another, with an illness within the backroom staff. Tony's been in the dugout. He's been getting really involved with the first team. And my bad that we didn't give him some questions on that 2 weeks ago.
We'll get him back on at another point. We can ask him all about being involved next. It's I'm fascinated by all that sort of stuff. Dundee United, obviously, we're playing them in the Trust Trophy this Friday. The game is on the TV, but if you want to get along to it, happen 7:40 kickoff, which is a very random kickoff time.
Like, what is 7:40 all about? Like, why 7?
Why not? Why 7:45 or something? I don't know, but it's 7:40. It'll be because they've got view from the terrace on after or something. It'll be for TV reasons or something like that. I guarantee that's what it is. But 7:40 on Friday. Adult £15, concession £10, all very reasonable prices, and as we know, under 12s are free with an accompanying adults, thanks to Your Equipment Solutions. Fortress Brockville is coming along. We talked last week about how we had a meeting with the club. Now we're getting to the business end of it now, so we'll be looking actually probably on next week's show. We'll farm out, get some of your help and writing the questions for us as we get on stage. So have a think over the next week about questions you would like to ask Crawford. If you can't make the event, we will ask the questions for you. So if you have a think about what questions you would ask Crawford, Kevin, Tiger McLaughlin. I mean, especially Tiger. Tiger was before my time, so I'm really interested in some of the older brains that maybe listen to this podcast. Give you your questions for Tiger, because I didn't have the privilege of watching the man in action, so it'd be great to get your questions for Tiger. But have a think, and we'll put out an appeal on our social media at some point to get your questions if you can't make the event, and then we can let you know how it was done on the night. But it should be cracking. Like I say, it's casual. It's going to be a really nice casual night as well. We've talked about how we're going to be like Graham Norton, and then Ross is convinced to bring along the Bockville Gate as well. Ross,
yeah, I can't quite remember how that conversation started yesterday, but it must have been after the game when we'd had a few beers. But yeah, we've managed to talk the club into bringing the Bockville Gate along, so that'll be at the front of the stage. But more importantly, the gate will be there for everybody who's going. The gate will be there to get some, hopefully some amazing pictures on the night. If with some of the legends, if they're happy to do so, but if not, even just as groups of pals and individuals who might want to get a picture taken beside the Bockville Gate, because that's not something that's always doable, is it? Because you don't always get into the pitch, so that's a really nice addition that the club have agreed to do that. So that'll be kind of cool.
And of course, get your stories. Now, I've been thinking about this. We're going to do it like Graham Norton, visit to the big blue chair, right? And Davy Nichols will decide where you get fucked off the stage, or you get, your story's good enough to get a captain's armband, which obviously everybody wants as well. We were getting asked about that yesterday. But I think, should we open it up? Not just Brockville stories, but I almost want to hear just a really good story. I was watching Graham Norton, and I'm just like, I just want to hear just a brilliant story.
I take it has to be Falkirk related.
We'll just make it anything related. As long as it's a good story, it's a good story, I'm all in for it. You know what I mean?
Well, we might even have a couple of contenders with some of the Falkirk On Tour.
We'll get into that in a minute, absolutely. But yeah, get involved 24th of November at the Inchyra. All the details on the description below, or you can head to the Falkirk website, get your tickets from there. 2-course meal, and like I say, we'll have a bit of a laugh on the night. And me and Ross will be hosting, and we've still to put together the script, so we'll get that done in the next week or so, because it's coming really quickly upon us. Listen, we did. Jim got in touch with the show, and thanks, Jim, for getting in touch with the show last week. We asked people, why, if you're not in the FSS, why aren't you? And Jim was kind enough to give his opinions. He'd actually been back in touch, just saying, because he a lot of people online, the typical Twitter, a lot of people are quite critical of Jim online. So he's seen some of his responses. And he actually's been in touch. He says, I actually agree with Ross regarding the club not being a typical business, but I was talking from the perspective of those running it who are legally obligated to run it as a business. The hard fact is that if we end up spending more than we bring in, then it doesn't matter what the perception is if we run out of money, nor does it matter how well we're doing. The instance would have happened last year too if it not for the cup run and the FSS money, both of which I presume were unknowns when setting the budget at the start of the season. That point with regards to where would we be without that wasn't actually discussed. It's a fair point. Also, despite having gained over 600,000 from that, we still required soft loans to get through the season. And by the post AGM statement, it looks like we're going to burn through any surplus cash reserves despite projecting income over 2 million. I just hope things work out well, but I certainly have my concerns regarding our finances, as I know others do too. Anyway, enough said. Hoping for a good match today and another 3 points, and we certainly delivered on that, Jim. So, I mean, like I've said, everyone is entitled to their opinion on this show. It's an open forum. People like Jim don't agree with the FSS. And then the other side, obviously, the FSS actually got in touch with us off the back of Jim's letter. Ross, you've got the statement there, haven't you?
Yeah, I do. Just as you said, so obviously, as we said last week, we are an open forum. Whether it's somebody coming on as a guest pundit or whether they get in touch through messaging or emailing or whatever the case may be. But yeah, FSS got in touch to say, listen, so the Falkirk Sports Society Committee would like to thank Ross and John at Falkirk Daft for asking the important question of why some supporters have not yet joined the FSS. So we've been considering how to ask the very same question and would encourage all fans who have not joined to follow Jim's lead and taking the time and trouble to draft an honest and heartfelt response. Jim's letter was important as it gives an insight to the areas where we may be able to improve upon. We realise that there will be continuing challenges as we collectively look to rebuild the club under the fan ownership model. We would like to build a wider picture on the concerns of those Bairns who have not yet joined the FSS and would ask all fans to reach out to us at admin@falkirksupporters.co.uk over email and give us feedback or just express your thoughts. It is then, with a broader understanding of the issues, we would hope to be able to alleviate any concerns and keep us all pulling together in one direction.
So there you go. Listen, if you do, please let the guys know at the FSS because they'll be able to hopefully deal with your concerns. I absolutely understand, because I've said in this podcast many times, I'm not 100% bought into, I'm an FSS member, but I'm not 100% bought into fan ownership. I know, Ross, you're all on board with it. But I mean, that's what we're saying. It's everyone's opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. So it'd be really interesting to see if you're not a member of the FSS, if you don't you don't believe in fan ownership. I saw actually Keith Lasley had put out a tweet looking for views on fan ownership as well, which would be really interesting. I think he's doing some sort of masters on it.
He's at St Mirren?
Yeah, he's the CEO at St Mirren.
So he's the CEO, right? I didn't realise that because obviously we are hope to be as a club in terms of like obviously the Premier League, but they're doing so as a fan-owned club as well. So that's really interesting. I didn't realise that was where he was. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so get in touch with the guys at the FSS. They'll, that's a really well drafted response to Jim. But drop them a line. If you aren't a member of the FSS, let them know why you aren't, and hopefully they can, alleviate your concerns. admin@falkirksupporters.co.uk is where you want to go if you want to talk to them. Right, talking of the FSS, this is why you need to be a member. And I tell you what, the numbers have flown up. Obviously, the club, we saw the club guys have joined in. So, we're at 848 now. I think the last time we did this, we were just past the 700.
I think it was maybe 725 or something like that.
So that's amazing. It's shot up. I mean, there's been a real push on it, and a lot of people have signed up over the last kind of couple of months. So that's brilliant news.
John, as we've said before, and you and I have been quite consistent with this, it's amazing how many people have joined. We obviously know there's a percentage out there that haven't yet or haven't. And as we continue to say, every pound that goes into the club, whether you're a member or not a member, is all money that the club needs. So whether you buy a shirt, a scarf, hospitality, a match ticket, or 1876 Club, FSS, it's all money into the club. But as you said just a minute ago, the fact that people at the FSS have been really open to dialogue, as in, listen, if you maybe don't do it just now, tell us what we could do, or tell us what things you'd like to see, so that we can try and increase that 848 to how good would it be if you got 1,000 people as a next sort of target? That would just be fantastic, wouldn't it?
That would be great. Let's try 1,000 by the new year, and that's probably a bit much for asking this time of the year, but 1,000 certainly by, halfway through the maybe halfway through the season or after the winter break. Let's try and see if we can get.
Tell you one thing though, John, if they had the same uplift that they've had in the last sort of 4, 5, 6 weeks that they've just had, then they could well hit 1,000 by New Year, which would just be outstanding. Because obviously, as the thing the club came out and said as well, didn't they, or was it the FSS, that every new member, every bit of new money that goes in is going towards the January budget. So that not only helps bring a new player in, but it helps keep the ones that we want to keep.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's going to be a question we're going to have to start asking soon if we keep going what we're doing. But let's do the draw then. And now, obviously, some of the club, if Brad Spencer's name comes out, or Finn Yates, or any of these players that have signed up, we're going to have to give them the prize here as well. So,
absolutely, yeah, no.
Right, so let's do the draw. Let's switch over to our the website. Obviously, there's no girls on it this week. See. There you go, nice and clean. So we've got 848 been put into the generator. What is the first prize, Ross?
And so we've got 4 prizes this month, John. So the first prize is a boardroom experience as donated by the directors at Falkirk Football Club, which is, as always, an amazing gesture too. Second prize is one of the new heritage shirts.
Belter.
Which I know sold out online. So this could be a way for somebody to get that in a size that they need. Third prize is a behind the wall voucher. So
thanks, Brian.
Out to Brian and the guys there as well. And there's a fourth prize as well. So well-known Bairns fan Leah Trevis. She has her own makeup artistry company. She's donated a makeup artistry voucher.
Oh, it's a good Christmas present for the wife, isn't it?
I was thinking, well, or indeed anybody who fancies getting a treat or a makeover, whatever the case may be. So,
I fancy a makeover myself.
Would you shave the beard or?
Maybe. Right, okay, let's start off with the makeup voucher. The Lisa, thanks to Leah Trevis for donating that, and let's go for that first of all. And the number is 257.
Okay. So 257 is Adam Peddy. Well done, Adam.
Adam, there you go. Right, next one out. Let's go for the behind the wall voucher, and it is number 588.
588 is Heather Brown.
Well done, Heather. Right, okay, next number coming out is this for the Heritage Top. Amazing, one of the best tops we've had in such a long time, and it is number 42.
42. Cameron MacArthur. Well done, Cameron.
Well done, Cammy. Well done. And finally, this is for the boardroom experience at the stadium on a match day of your choice. And here we go. It is number 71.
71 is Mr. Andrew Taylor. Congratulations.
Well done, Andy Taylor. Spot on. Fantastic. So there you go. That is your FSS draw for this month. If you want to be in it next week, all you have to do is very simple. Just join the FSS. What would we do? See if our name came out of the draw, Ross. Would we have to put it back in, or would we keep the prize?
No, I think I'd probably feel bad and just hand it back in.
I'd be taking it.
Would you keep it, would you?
Aye. Of course, Jesus. Right, well, let's get our competition. We reached 18764, as we said last week, and we said from all our Twitter followers we'd draw some names out. And what was the prize for that, Ross?
We had 3 prizes, John, which means 3 lucky followers. So we had Slap in the Bus Prince had donated Brockville prints in an A4 and A5 size. So we've decided to split those up. So there's 2 winners there. And we also have a signed captain's armband up for grabs as well. So the only way an adult could win one of these this year is, via the draw that we're about to do, or if they come along to the Fortress Brockville night and they give us a belter of a story and David doesn't decide to chuck you off the stage. So... So wasn't quite as easy with Twitter in terms of the number of followers. So we did have to do this earlier. It wasn't something we could. It was random though. We literally just scrolled and scrolled and picked 3 random followers. And we do have 3 winners. So the A4 Brockville Prince were won by Twitter handle @Taylor Jr. 1. The A5 Brockville Print was won by an @Paul McTavish, and the Captain's Armband was won by @Jason Cherry 98. So massive congratulations to all 3, and I'll drop the winners an email, a DM on Twitter, and we'll arrange for collection of the prizes.
Yeah, great stuff. Move on. We asked last week. We asked for your tour stories. We got into asking about. We've had some crackers in, absolute belters. So thank you very much for all your tour stories. Let's kick things off with John Mitchell, who says, always remember the jukebox in a social club over when we went to play Sligo Rovers. Walked in, the first 4 songs were the Soldier song twice, and Is the Way to Amarillo twice. Amazing, what a contrast those 2 songs are.
You can imagine why the Amarillo was getting played, because we were there, but the other ones, yeah, it was just random. I'm sure that was just random. We've also had a story come in, and we did agree that the identity would be hidden. So we're not going to share the name of the fan who's sent this in, but it is a belter of a story. So the best I'll start as it was sent in. So the best tour story was on the return from Seski Borovici pre-season trip. Myself and my cousin flew to Prague and got the train down. We went to the game, had a great day and night down there, but the real fun was on the way home. We got the train back to Prague and a few hours to kill till a late night flight home. So what to do? Time to sample a few more Czech beers. So we stopped off for 1 or 2, which then led to a few more. And after a while, we decided we might go see some dancing girls, even though it was only early afternoon. So we decided to go for a walk to locate some. After wandering for a bit, we turned down the side alley and see a neon sign, which looked likely. So they approached. We then see a guy beckoning us in like a madman, so why not? We went down the stairs and the place was dead. The music was on and there was a couple of girls dancing and only one other group of guys milling about in the far corner. As we adjusted to our surroundings and pondered our next move, one of that group shouts over, "What are you guys doing here?" At this point, we realise it's the full Falkirk first team squad, including Mr. Russell Latterby. So my cousin replies, "I could ask you guys the same thing." Obviously, having spotted the badges on their tops, they shouted us over, so we joined them. The next thing, Russell is crashing my cousin's fags as he'd ran out and asking who we were and what we did. He was clearly worried as he kept saying, "No photos, guys, and no, you aren't journalists, are you?" So anyway, we reassured him and got a drink. The next thing we know, Russell invites us into a private booth with him and a few of the other boys for a private that was laid on. 2 girls dancing on the table in front of us, and he tries to steal their underwear, but he got caught. This is typical Russell. We're not going to have any...
This is an amazing story.
My only memory of that moment is instead of watching the 2 girls, I'm nudging my cousin and saying, "This is Russell Latterby." We shortly left and bid our farewells to catch our flight and never saw them again. Gutted we never got a picture to take home with us as proof of that afternoon. My cousin still says to this day, "Wee Russell owes me a packet of Marlboro."
Amazing, absolutely amazing story. I've got one as well here from the one, the only Mr. Stephen Beveridge. He has got in touch. He says, "Me and my cousin Brian, lifelong fan, went to the Irish trip the season after our 97 loss to Kilmarnock. Whitey was scared of flying, so had to get the train from Falkirk to Holyhead. Me being a 26-year-old stud, got lucky in the toilet before he even hit Preston. What? Caught the half-mile high club. Got the... By the... Sex in a... Like, I'm not having that. Like, sex in a train toilet is a bad... But, like, the stink that's... But well done, Stevie.
It must have been moving for him, though, eh? As in
very good. Got the boat to Dublin, checked in, and went on the lash. We played Drogheda United. I remember one night we had to get the train up to me and Whitey and those 2 girls we accidentally bumped into on the purpose. Haha. Game wasn't the best, but I somehow managed to lace a shot into the top corner against a left back whose name escapes me. I can't even remember who that would be. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
At half time, realising there wasn't a train back to Dublin after the game, I told everyone not to panic. We waited after the game until the players came out. I went right to Alex Totten when he came out and asked if it was okay to travel back in the bus to Dublin, and he couldn't have been any more welcoming. So there I was in the back of the bus playing cards with Kevin James, Scott Crabb and Davy Moss on the way back. Went back to the hotel near the airport, ended up drinking with Mowgli and Marino Keith. Mowgli was unreal, what a lad, and Marino Keith was different class too. Could go into a lot and mean a lot over that trip, but I'll leave it at that. But I don't even know where to start with Vaduz. Although we'll tell you a cracking bit going through the Swiss Alps and the whole bus singing "It's Not a Patch on the Ocals," and that will live for me forever. Love Falkirk Tea. So brilliant for Steve. That's the kind of story that we're needing, and the one before it as well is for the Fortress Brockville. Like, this is what we're looking. The bar's been set by those two stories. Listen, we've got more of your on tour stories, and we'll maybe do them next week just to inspire you on the run up to the Fortress Brockville night. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. So thanks very much, first of all, to Stevie and Anonymous as well, and John Mitchell as well for those stories. Keep the on tour stories coming in. We'll get a couple more on the show next week, and thanks for everyone who's got in touch. We'll get your stories on next week. Right, on to the game then, is it? Edinburgh City came to Grangemouth, as he put on their Twitter, and went back to the city with nought, which was great. But let's get on our guest pundit this week. It's a man who actually joined us for a few Sherberts last night. It's Mr. Craig Rawding.
Guys,
How you doing?
You alright?
I'm alright. How are you feeling, Craig?
A wee bit rough, put it that way.
Did you just say you're off it?
That's me. Yeah, till next week, that's me, off it.
Till next week. Well, it was certainly, we went up to the Wheat Sheaf, we were talking about hospitality, we went up to the Wheat Sheaf after. Brilliant night up there. We had a good few drinks in the pub, a lot of banter as well. So, I think it was about when Peter said, I'm going down the road and offered me a lift. I was like, I'm going now. But I think you stayed on, Craig, didn't you?
We ended up in the Welly.
Did you?
So,
I know.
I thought you were going to say the Monarchy.
No, Christ, no. Too old for that now.
XOXO, mate. That's what it's at, is it no?
Oh.
I think we're 25 years too old for EXO.
I think so. The Wheat Sheaf's our kind of level now, isn't it? But it's good. I have to say, the Wheat Sheaf's such a great pub. I don't think we talk about how good a pub. I love it. Bar staff are brilliant in there. Big Jed, who runs the bar there. And
there's a famous barman, as we now know.
There is a famous barman, actually, a famous barman in the fact that, I don't know if it should we out. I don't think we should we out who the barman is. Well, let's just leave it the clue that we put out yesterday, that a famous Scottish international son works in the Wheat Sheaf, but we won't give out the details. But there you go. You can go and do your own investigating on that, or try and work it out for yourself. But yeah, no, it's a cracking pub, and it was celebratory pints after Falkirk won 2-1. Spencer and Martin. Before we get into the game, we've got to ask Craig the usual questions, haven't you? Right, Craig. First of all, first Falkirk game, and second of all, who's your favourite Falkirk player out with the Holy Trinity?
To be honest, I can't really pinpoint my first ever game. The one that sticks in my memory is when we beat Race Rovers 7-2 with Peter Henderson, and I think Sammy got a couple of goals as well. That was my first game that sticks in my memory.
Fantastic. Good start.
But, yeah, then probably too many after that to go through. Favourite ever player? I know, for me, I know he's a quite pal with him and that as well, but McGivern just, for me, but at that age when I first started, I thought he was awesome. Yeah. And then obviously you've got the Stainrod and the Latape and stuff, but I'll say McGivern for me was one of the standouts. Him and Big Batty as well, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, obviously, Big Crawford's going to be at the Fortress Brockville night, so you'll need to get your questions in for him, Craig.
That was my sister's favourite player as well. So.
There you go. So, listen, let's get into the match. 2-1 to Falkirk. Aidan Nesbitt, Ross McKeever with the goals. Starting 11 slightly mixed up after the Queen's Park, as I thought it might be. Agyeman dropped out. Oliver was out injured as well. I think he was actually named, but I don't know if I saw his name down, but I don't know if he's been injured in the warm-up or not. I kind of missed that, but Oliver was out injured. Spencer Morrison came back into the starting 11 as well, with Nesbitt coming in as well. Bislin dropped to the bench, as well as I'm trying to think who else dropped to the bench. It was because Agyeman. It was
Ross as well. I thought.
Yeah, Ross as well. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that was your starting 11. What changes needed, Ross, just after Queen of the South?
Yeah, I think he probably did it for that reason, to try and maybe get a little bit of a reaction out of some of the players. Yeah, obviously Agyeman didn't have a massively great game against Queen, so you can understand why he was. I don't know if I would have dropped Ethan Ross. I thought we missed him yesterday, so I don't know if I would have agreed with that change. Obviously Nesbitt came in and he's made his 100th appearance, which is always a good milestone. He's got a goal too that I know we'll talk about, but yeah, other than that, he probably wanted Brad Spencer and Callum Morrison back in the starting 11 as well. I don't know if either of them looked 100% match fit, but I can understand them wanting to bring them back in.
Yeah, that changes you made, Craig, or you just thought you was?
For me, I would have kept Ross in the team because I think he gives us something different going forward. I like him, to be fair. Agyeman, yeah, I gave it Ross. He did deserve maybe a wee time on the bench. But yeah, it's a tough one though. Like, you bring Morrison back in and hoping that he's back to where he was before he went out injured. But obviously he's a wee bit off it yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's just a couple of weeks. I think he'll be back on it, to be fair.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree that I think Agyeman's performance against Edinburgh the last time, but he absolutely bossed them, and you can see obviously the difference he made when he came off the bench yesterday. I would have been tempted to left Agyeman and maybe brought Morrison off the bench just so he can start finding his feet again and getting into it. But yeah, the players, like you say, it's a squad game, and I think John McGuinn said that in his interview. And we've got good players on the bench now, to bring in and change things about, and especially after dropping points at Queen of the South. I guess he's got to change it. And we all know Aidan's one of his favourites, so if Aidan's fitting again, he'll get him, fit him into the team. But yeah, Ethan Ross, I don't think he's done much wrong to get dropped, but
I wouldn't say so.
Nah, but obviously before the match there was the Remember service. Not great work from the club. They'll have to say, right, I'm going to say it. What about that Piper?
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I was like that way. You're just trying to be serious and all that sort of stuff. Poor guy. Like, I think it was maybe the pipes going from the warmth inside to the out. I'm going to put that down, right, because sometimes that affects the pipes, right. But I was sitting there like every bum note. I was just like try to hold my laugh in.
That is exactly what I would have expected Mr. Rawding to say. No, for you. That's poor, John.
We were sitting, there was a couple of young guys in that in front of us, and they were like looking at each other and as if to say, what the hell's this? But you feel sorry for the guy. He's been put out there to do that, and he just one wee mistake and he picks up on it.
I know. The pressure was on.
At least the bugler was spot on, weren't they?
Yeah.
No issues there. Whereas I remember a few years back, I think.
Yeah, the bugler, the last time was really.
Yeah, she struggled. But you don't want to have a go, because they're mostly young people doing it from the I think is it Grangemouth British Legion or something they're part of or something. But they do it. It looks amazing. So going back to the first point, you're right. The club always do remembrance service really, really well. The only thing for us is we got kicked out the hospitality lounge probably about 15 minutes early.
I know. Jeez.
That's the only annoyance. But yeah, otherwise they did really well with it.
I know. Well done to everyone involved with that. I'm only checking about the Piper, but I was that way. I was just like laughing. Just like, oh no, is that what you felt for the person there? You're just like, oh God. So we get the game off after that. Started well, out the traps pretty quickly. Couple of chances early on. Good save from Spencer. Like he hit that, and the goalie had a great save with his feet. Had that header from McKeever, which was just tipped over. I mean, that you think, oh, it was at the keeper, but Ross could have maybe done a wee bit better with that. And then a moment of absolute mentalness as Hogarth tried to pass it out. It deflects off Innocent Murray, and in the back of the net, you're just going, what?
Yeah, I know. I felt for him. Did anybody see what the BBC he had put out saying it was a strike from the edge of the box by Ennis Murray. You couldn't call that a strike.
It hit off him into the net.
Off him, didn't it?
Right.
I did feel for Hogarth for that, because he's not. Every game he's played this year, he's been like safe. He's not a lot to do. So it's probably not done his confidence that much. And well, I know we'll talk about Dundee United in 10, 15 minutes or so, but like Sam Long's probably going to come back in for the cup game anyway. And you just wonder if Sam Long then may keep the starting position, if assuming all goes well on Friday night.
I mean, the thing is, Craig, and this is what I've said, they're two young goalkeepers, Sam Long and Hogarth, right? They are going to make mistakes. That's inevitable, but, they have, I mean, as Ross said as well, they've not really they don't really have much testing during the game. I mean, there's the chances, there's been a couple of great saves. I mean, Hogarth made a great save last week, but the chances, I mean, on the other end, the boy McNeil had a great game for Edinburgh and then the sticks for them, but...
Is that the wee boy who's been, like, about loads of clubs?
Is he on loan for Hibs, though? Is that... I'm sure somebody said that at the game.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, so it's not...
I might be wrong, but I'm sure that, because he had a good game, to be fair.
He did.
He kept him in it for a good chunk of the game.
Young goalkeepers. So we saw Sam, at Partick Thistle, he made a terrible mistake. He's made a couple of mistakes as well, and you're going to get that. But when they're called upon, they've generally been pretty good, and generally been, some bad. But the defence in front of them was just keeping everything away from them, So it's just a moment of madness. Switch off. So you felt sorry for Nicky, but yeah, it was just like, I have to say though, when the ball hit the net, I'm like, that's no ball. That's fine, because this team's a different animal. I turned to Joe, who was sitting beside, and just sort of said, "Nah, nobody. Listen, don't worry about it. These things happen. We're going to win." And I was 100% confident that the win was going to come. But we had the chances again. Just right after the goals in, there's that chance from Miller, where he goes. In fact, was 1-1, and then Miller had that chance. But we did have chances, and we just put the penalty 4. But Morrison involved, coming off back into the start line, involved in the goal. Great ball through, and what a great finish from Aidan Nesbitt, by the way.
Yeah, lovely wee chip over the keeper. I had to watch the highlights back because, as we know, I was coming back from the toilet when we scored. And I just, so I had to watch it back, but it kind of looks like the defenders passed it back.
Really? I thought it was a Morrison through ball.
Morrison was there, and Morrison was pressuring the defender or the midfielder, but I think it might have been an Edinburgh player who played the ball forward.
Right.
Because the boy who did it, he just put his hands on his head as soon as he...
Right. I thought it was Morrison that had played it through to him, but there you go. We're taking the assist away from Morrison and giving it to the Edinburgh player. But listen, Aidan Nesbitt had just that little chip finish. See when they go in like that, it's just beautiful. And it was a brilliant finish, Craig.
Yeah, he's got that in his game though. He just, for me, I mean, I like Nesbitt. You look at last year, I think he was a top assists and stuff like that. So he has got it in his locker. He just needs to show it more often for me in the games.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just gets pushed off the ball far too easily for me.
That's my not frustration, but he's a different player to Ethan Ross and Agyeman, because we know what Agyeman does. He just gets the head down and shoves people off the ball and runs towards goal. That's not really Nesbitt's game. And I think that's maybe why he gets a little bit of a tougher time for the fans than maybe Ethan Ross or Agyeman. But yeah, the finish was absolutely sublime. Is that his second goal of the season? I remember one against.
Yeah, he scored down in the south stand, didn't he? As well, against who was it against? Annan, I think it was Annan. Yeah, it was one of those. But yeah, I loved how the fact that Ross, just before he scored as well, tweeted out on the Falkirk Daft account, "Get Agyeman or Ross on for Nesbitt at half time." Brilliant commentators are there, Ross.
It shows that I know nothing, if I'm being honest, John. So take that as you will.
There you go. So we get in at half time, 1-1, and like I said, I honestly, the confidence of just. I went in going, we're still going to beat them, but they made hard work of it. I have to say in that second half, they did make hard work of it. But we had the chances. Edinburgh could have had goals of their own. We'll talk about their disallowed goal in a minute. But we had big chances there in the second half again. We didn't get a lot of quality balls into McKeever, but that goal when it came was a great team goal. You look at the passing beforehand, ball goes out to McCann, brilliant cross from McCann, and great finish from Big Ross.
Phenomenal. Craig, you would have had a better view of it than us.
I was right behind it, so really sit was right behind the goals. It was superb for him. He's made such a difference for us up front.
100%.
His presence, and he holds up the ball.
His link play is phenomenal. His link up play is absolutely phenomenal, Ross McKeever.
And there's a few guys around the bit that I'm going to say them get on his back, but they're a bit short with him, if you know what I mean. They're kind of, whereas other guys will get away with some more stuff, but he seems to be getting a few shouts for where we are at the moment. But I think him, Tam Lang and Spencer are the spine of your team. If we lose one of them, we coped with Spencer being a couple of games, but for any length of time we lose them, I think we'll struggle.
I think
Tam Lang at the back.
I think absolutely. I think if you Tam Lang drops out of that side, you're going to have to move Hendel back into centre half, or Brad. God knows what's Brad Mackay's. I don't know what's happened with Brad Mackay, but we saw near the tail end of last season, Mackay and Donaldson together were a bit of a bomb scare. They started. I mean, Mackay had a really purple patch at one point last season where he was playing really, really well, and then near the end of the season, they were the two of them were murder. Tam Lang, I fully agree with you, Craig. I think you miss him. That would be a big worry for. That's the biggest worry out of the whole team. That's the one player I don't think we've got a replacement off the bench for.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Mackie could probably play there, but it's not really the same level.
Okay, well, that clearance and that challenge that Mackie made near the end of the match, you forget Sean Mackie's got that in his locker. But yeah, you're right, actually. Sean Mackie, I forgot about Sean. You could go in at centre half as well, and you probably, that might be a preference because you don't want to lose that presence of physical presence in the midfield from Hendel. So, but yeah, Alfie, we talked about, came off the bench as well. He made an impact when he came on, did he not?
He did. He was what we hope of him. He just causing a nuisance himself. As we've said before, you get an unpredictability with Alfie, but which is good, and it's also bad at times as well. But he did far more good than bad yesterday. He had one chance that I remember. He had a really nice time.
Keeper. Yeah. That would have been a great goal, another great team goal if that had went on, because it was just well worked as well. And you just thought, if it just went in there, but I think he was probably on his wrong foot, and he just wanted to hammer it past the goalkeeper. But like I said, I thought the Edinburgh goalkeeper was really good yesterday. But yeah, then we led to the goal, which was chopped off. I'll tell you what, see if I was in the opposite side, I would be livid that goal was topped off. Did it actually deflect off of Fontaine and then? I couldn't work out. Because
it looked like it did, but
it looked like it took it. It must have done, because he was offside, right? When you see it back in the replay, he was offside. Because I thought he'd just given it, he was offside and it was struck in the goalie's view. Now, if that's the case and that's been chopped off for that, we've got away with one. But if it has actually deflected off, obviously it should be, rolled off. But I don't. The way it was hard to see in the replay, but it did look like it taking some sort of deflection. But you would be raging, wouldn't you?
To be fair, how many times was it last season or the season before we ever got one penalty hardly?
Aye. So
it's decisions like that really winds you up as a supporter. But then on the other hand, it's went for us, so tough.
I know.
Fair play to the lino for flagging it, because he could quite have easily just let the ref make the decision. No. I did shite myself though when the ref went over, because I thought. I
said to Stevie, I was like, "Oh, here we go. He's going to overturn this."
Yeah.
Because as soon as you think the referee goes across, you think, "Oh, that's it." He's the linesman.
But I mean, they had a relatively lengthy conversation about it, and I think you could see the linesman just saying, "This is what happened." The referee went, "Fine, I'm on board for that." So we got away with that one. But again, I think if they'd scored, we would have went up the park and scored. I honestly have got so much confidence in this team at the moment. And like Craig, you were saying, you know, you need that bit of luck as well. I mean, Dunfermline probably had a bit of that last season as well. You need that, as well as having that spine, that great team. You need to have a wee bit of that on your side. You need to have those last minute goals in your locker. You know, you need that fight. And I honestly think this team, and we've said it so many times in the podcast, it's a different animal. The only problem is, down in South Lanarkshire, there's another team doing the exact same as we're doing, you know. Sitting at 33 points for, you know, and 3 points clear at Hamilton. In most other seasons, again, you're probably, we were playing 16 games unbeaten now. You think we should be miles ahead. We should be miles ahead. But Hamilton, in fairness, you know, there's them still in Albion yesterday beating them 5-0. They're doing it too, man. And it's worrying. It's worrying me.
It's shaping up to be a huge game against them at New Douglas Park in the middle of December. It's massive. Is that one's not been moved for TV or anything yet, has it? I hope it stays at 3 o'clock on the Saturday though. I'd rather it was then. But I genuinely think that's such a huge game already, and we know we'll take a huge crowd through there for that game as well.
I know we've got 2 big tests ahead of that though. Montrose away specifically, I think it's a real banana skin, and then Cove at home. We all know Mr. Hartley will not want to be getting points taken off him.
They're on a good run just now as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and you know Mr. Burrow will certainly be looking to score as well. So we'll see. But listen, that was we got up out there, like you say, 3 points. I don't. For me, I was never in doubt. Absolutely never in doubt. I mean, there was people predicting 5-6-0, but listen, I've said it all season. Win your home games, get something, and now it's turned in that we need to get wins away from home as well. I was like, as long as you can get away a point or get something from your away games, you'll win the league. But like I say, going back to Hamilton, we're going to have to win. It looks like every single game if we want to put this league to bed as early as we possibly can. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. But let's hear what Mr. McGlynn had to say after the match.
John, it was a really tough game today, but got there in the end. Another 3 points, 16 unbeaten. Maybe not the best performance, but still pleased.
Yeah, we made it difficult for ourselves by conceding an early goal, an error. These things happen, unfortunately. It certainly gave Edinburgh a boost, a massive boost, something to fight for, something to hold on to. And it sometimes can unsettle you a little bit by losing that early goal and that type of goal. But it was up to the whole team to try and make up for that, because like Nicky and Sam, they've made saves during the season, and maybe that saved us on that particular day, and it was up to the whole team then to help us get the result, and on behalf of Nicky, which is, I'm glad that's happened, as I say, because the goalies have made saves throughout the season, and maybe that's got us points in the past, and at least we dug Nicky out today as well. So yeah, I thought we were always a better team. Yeah, maybe they were. At times we turned the ball over a bit too many times, and it became a little bit frustrating, that's it. We seemed like there was times where we didn't have anyone on the park who were capable of passing the ball, and of course we're giving anybody even more encouragement because we know. But if you look at all the stats, and I think we had something like 16, 17 shots, 7 on target to their 1. Even the stats back up. In the first half, Nizzy and Brad Spencer went right through 1v1. I'm sure there was another glaring opportunity that we missed. Big Ross has got a header on target that maybe he should even score with. I felt we should have been still coming in at half time 2 or 3 up. But fair play to Edinburgh, they did. They've improved a lot. They've made it really, really difficult for us, as they've shown, maybe 3 weeks ago when they went to Hamilton and came away with a point. They've shown that they've picked up. They're working, harder, and they're making things more difficult. By since Michaels came in, probably last week, would have been a disappointment for him when Montrose scored 5 against them. And sometimes that can put you in a false sense of security. So we didn't quite get to the standards, but Aidan Nesbitt took his goal remarkably well. Great finish, real good composure. And the second goal is our type of goal. You know, a great ball in. Calvin's got a great ball in, and Ross has got in the front of the defender, and it's a great header. So that's our type of goal. It's the way we play. We want our wingers to get down the line and get crosses in, and we want Ross to get, you know, across the front of defenders and get headers and score goals. And I'm delighted for him. He's done that. I thought there was opportunities for us to put more crosses in. We did put quite a number of crosses in, and you know, we're asking to get more bodies in the box so we get more chances of scoring goals. And because we've not really killed them off, it gets a little bit nervy at the end. I just looked at the goal that they got disallowed, and I can see why it's disallowed. Fontaine's standing right in front. I think he's actually got a nick on it as well. So he's deflected it in, and he's standing in an offside position, so it was offside. So hard working, 3 points, very hard working, and I'm sure for out at the end of the season we'll need to be continuing to do exactly that, continue to work hard, and hopefully we can make it a little bit more comfortable than that. But I'm sure there'll be days where it'll be tough, and we'll have to, you know, keep going and keep going and keep going and keep playing the way that we play and get the results.
There we go. Hard working win sums it up, I think.
I'll say so.
Yeah, I mean, John always sums up every. We don't even have to do this podcast. We just have to play the John McGlynn interview, and he just sums up the whole game for us anyway. But yeah, he did. I think it was a hard-working win. That's a great way to describe it. Edinburgh have improved vastly since we last played them. That's for sure. Obviously, they got the absolute pumping off Montrose last week, so everyone was predicting a big win for us. But sometimes, like John McGlynn says, you know, that kind of wakes you up a wee bit, getting a thumping. You know, you've seen it so many times when the next game match they've went on and played really, really well. So, anything to add to John?
The only thing I was going to say, because as you said, Johnny nails it every time he gets an interview, but he obviously mentioned it was Calvin Miller who put the cross in.
I thought it was McCann.
It was McCann as well, but maybe obviously John will know because he was probably watched it back about 18 times. But I don't even think when I watched the highlights, I don't even think Sean Eldebrand actually said, "Oh, the cross came in by so and so." He just said it was a beautiful cross come over. So I thought it was McCann at the time, but obviously it must have been Calvin Miller. But he's right; it's a typical Falkirk goal this season. How many times now have we scored from a really good cross into the box? But Craig, sorry, going back to what you said earlier on, you would have been in a better position to see the second goal. Did he actually cut himself across the defender to get his head on it? Was that what happened?
It was basically he made a wee step as if to move away, then he came back in front of him. So brilliant. It was good. It was like I say, a good finish.
Good. And that's Ross McKeever on 8 or 9 goals. My 30 goals is still achievable, I think, across all comps.
Across all comps, in brackets.
Yeah, in brackets, yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, like you say, it's a great turn, because everyone, even when we spoke to Al, we were speaking to the guys at the What's Next podcast, and we sort of said, well, what's the lowdown McKeever? And they were like, you know, not a great loss, and not gutted to see him go. You know, they said, you know, we looked at, I think every Falkirk player kind of looked at his record as a striker and went, what? We're getting this guy who's only scored. But I tell you what, and go back to, I think he's a really big asset, and I think he's the kind of player that works in a John McGlynn team, if you know what I mean, because of the crosses, and, you know, that's what John McGlynn, you heard in his interview there, getting crosses in the box, keep going, you know, and we've seen it so many times with John McGlynn. It's like getting it wide. That's why Morrison, Agyeman, McCann, these boys from the wide areas are so important to the team, and having that focal point in Ross in the middle is how John McGlynn likes to set up a team, you know. And it's a shame, because, you know, Jordan Allen, who I think we all want to see getting more of a chance, you know, and just one of these days, you know, when I said it against Alice, see, when we're gubbing them, change this. Why not just give it a shot and change the system and go for a 4-4-2 with Big McKeever now and up front? I'm a stickler for a big man, wee man combination. You know what I mean? I'd love to see it happen. You know, they did it at Cove, I think, when we were struggling, and we obviously got the goal in the end. Jordan got the goal, but I want to see it happen. I really do, because I think they work so well. Because, like you say, Craig, his hold up play is, you know, his link play is unbelievable.
No, I would say as well that teams know how to play against us now. That's why we're coming up against teams that are so well organised and so tactically set up properly for us. So why not, like, 10, 15 minutes to go, right, just stick the two of them up front, 4-4-2 and go for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's done, you can't really knock him this season, to be fair, can you? So
it was certainly a criticism that he only had, John McGlynn last season. And like I say, against the full-time better teams, that they had to figure out. I mean, like we saw, like Dunfermline had their card, like, last season. They knew exactly how to play against us. That, after that first game where we went East End, then after that, every other game, they're like, right, we know what we're going to do here, and they figured them out. And we had that criticism in the podcast coming up against, same with Airdrie as well. Reece McCabe, did a really good job on him as well. But he's persisted with it. I think he's got the players now that, I think that's the difference, is the players. He's got the players that can play the system that he wants to play, as opposed to last season when he maybe was missing, and Ross, you've talked about it, he was probably missing 2 or 3 kind of key players but in Tam at the back, in Brad Spencer in midfield, and in Big Ross up front, he's got that spine that he needs to play that system, because you see how many times Cole or Tom come out as a centre half and carry the ball as well. We probably didn't have that in someone like Brad Mackay last season. You know what I mean? So yeah, fair play to him. Fair play. Stuck with his system, and hopefully, it gets us across the line and wins us the league title.
We've got the scariest front three in the league. Like, I know Hamilton have got the boy Ewan Henderson, and he's scoring a lot of goals. He's setting up a lot of goals, so he's one individual that's doing it. But our front three are a nuisance, and it shows. I just had a quick look at the top scoring chart for us, and so Ross McKeever's on now on 9 across, and that's just league and the cup games. So that's not like I know I said in all comps and stuff. I'm sure he scored about 4 in pre-season, which I'm going to count, but I know they don't. But he's on 9. Callum Morrison's on 7, and you've got Alfie on 6, and that's no surprise, because these guys are dangerous. And as Craig said earlier on, you've got other options there. You've got Calvin Miller, you've got Ethan Ross. Nesbitt's on 3 goals, just as we did. I can't remember where his third one happened. I suppose it might have been one of the cup games, but Nesbitt's on 3. Tam Lang's on 3. Liam Henderson's got a goal. Jordan, we've mentioned, has got a goal. Big Cole's got a worldie that he scored a few weeks ago. So there are goals about the team massively.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin, let's see what you guys had to say about the match. Elsa kicks us off. Hello, Elsa. We need to get Elsa back on the podcast for a bit of analysis. She's always brilliant. Elsa says, Lang or McKeever for play of the match for me. Didn't control the match for any period. Midfield not clicking and not much sticking up front. Though McKeever won a lot of headers and flick-ons. Glad he got his goal. Credit to Edinburgh City, because they pressed us all over the pitch and forced mistakes. It's a win though.
She's right on both counts. It is a win, and they definitely pressed us. That was one thing they did really well. Wee Tam says, worst performance of the season by far. Team needs a refresh, as they looked a yard off it all game. Lowell, Agyeman and Allen on from the start next week, please. However, we still managed the 3 points.
A big shout. That's a big shout. I'd like say for next week, and we'll get into the Dundee United game. I think he will make changes for the Trust Trophy game, as we've seen in previous. I think Big Alfie will get back in. I think he might, Spencer and use some of the bench. Maybe Lowell might get a stick Jordan Allen. So we'll wait and see what happens. John says, didn't pass the ball well and missed Alfie's strength and unpredictability in the final third. Lang was immense. Some header for the winner, and fair play to the assistant for spotting their offside. Also big challenge from Mackie at the end. Not pretty, but job done. Yeah, I've talked about Mackie challenge at the end. It was great. He loves a tackle. I love a good centre half that loves a tackle. There we go.
Doesn't it? Graham says, thank God for Tam Lang. Very disappointing performance, and fortunate to come away with a win. Need to be better on Friday, or we are in for a doing. Great support once again from the Ultras too.
Yeah, Mr. Lev Chick, hello. Poor game, too choppy, not flowing enough, but a result. Nice.
Indeed, yeah. Another John says, Edinburgh have greatly improved, and clear they had done their homework on us. Too many misplaced passes from us, but can't argue with the 3 points. As the season progresses, teams will see how to stifle our game, and we have to be flexible enough to get round that, just as we talked about a minute ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig. Yeah. Cammy says, poor performance all round, but winning the game is all that matters, and still top of the league, so can't complain.
Craig said, I slated Nesbitt and McKeever throughout the game, and they both scored. So I'll take the credit for the 3 points.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah. How
That was the me for a change.
Tam never got man of the match is beyond me.
I know why I didn't get man of the match, because they knew I was in hospitality. And I think you're all getting to know who my Falkirk Daft rated player is. But I think that, restriction that I've got that he's handed me over from the police probably is why he didn't get man of the match.
No closer than 50 yards. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's training order. Paul, not sure many of them would have got past marks. However, it's another hard-fought 3 points, which could be crucial come the end of the season. Alfie back in from the start next week, please.
Indeed. Barry says, not the greatest of performances, but 3 points in the bag, which is the main thing. That's what league winners do. Big Tam Lang was different gravy and should have been man of the match. I'm on the Burns.
There you go. And Mark, it's the type of game that was made for Alfie. Desperately needed someone to run at them from midfield. Nesbitt was terrible, and his goal doesn't excuse that. How he lasted the 90, I'll never know. And whoever voted him as man of the match must have been on the doubles. Was 9 players more deserving than him.
Well, that's obviously not true, because no one was allowed a double in hospitality. So. which was a bone of ours, wasn't it? Yeah. So, Boney Unks 227. Miller is better as a 10 than Nesbitt. The end. And finally, 10 Navy bottles. Falkirk Dafty of the week. Hogarth or the speed bumps they've put into the retail park, or both.
I've not been up the retail parks since that's the speed bumps are going. Are they bad?
Really bad, John. Craig, have you been?
I've not been yet, but a couple of the guys. Initially, we're going about it as well.
I did see a tweet that said Falkirk's tallest structures: the Kelpies, 30 metres, the Falkirk Wheel, 35 metres, the Steeple, 43 metres, the retail park speed bumps, unknown.
They are bad.
There we go. We'll need to check out. I love how we've become a forum for speed bumps now, as well as Falkirk. Right, okay. Falkirk Daft rated player. Let's go for you first, Craig. Who you picking as your man of the match?
Everybody's kind of really said it. I mean, you would look at Tam Lang. I think it was superb. But I would also say I thought McKeever did well. So probably one of them two, I would say. Right, Ross.
I'm going to go for it would have been one of the two, but I'm going to go for McKeever. I thought he won every header that was going. He was obviously flicking headers on and then chasing them himself at points. So and the winner was just phenomenal. So I'm going to go Ross McKeever.
So does that mean I've got a cast and vote?
You probably do, yes.
Who do you think I'm going to go for? Big Tam, of course. Of course, he was man of the match. Everybody else is saying it. He was man of the match. He was absolute, just a rock again. Just everything just gets battered away. Everyone gets battered off him. He's some boy, and he was certainly my man of the match. So Falkirk Daft player of the week is Tam Lang. There we go. Falkirk Dafty. Kick us off, Craig.
We could look at Hogarth, I would say.
Okay,
I like Sam Long. I think he's a good keeper as well. But yeah, you've got to look at for that one. I mean, in the past that would have cost us a game. Luckily, the team we are now is completely different. So you've got to give it to him.
Ross, do you agree?
Yeah. Although, if it wasn't Hogarth, and it's going to sound controversial, but
could be Nesbitt. You're going to say Nesbitt, aren't you?
I didn't think Nesbitt had a good game at all, and I know he scored, but I think for the error, and it could have been costly. But as John McGlynn said, he has saved us. Both keepers have saved us this year, so it feels wrong to give it to Hogarth. But I'll probably need to give it to.
I think I'd have to give it to Nicky as well. It was just a silly mistake. Like you say, young goalkeeper. These things will happen. But yeah, it was just that. Sometimes it's just get it up the park, and I think I saw Cole Donaldson going to him afterwards, going, "Fucking just get it up the park." You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to take those. But so I'm very sorry for Nicky, but yeah, unfortunately, he's going to have to be the Falkirk Dafty of the week.
John, notable mention though, we have to give to the Lino at the far side for his part in the win.
So yes, thank you very much, Lino. I don't know who was the Lino yesterday, but well done. That was a great decision. Well spotted. Lightning. Love it. Right, okay, well, that's it for this week, Falkirk Daft. Craig, thank you so much being very hungover and coming on to do that. I think I'm going to have a wee hair the dog, wee glass of wine or something tonight just to take the edge off. I see you're drinking water, Ross.
Aye, no, there's nothing else but water happening tonight.
So struggling. All right, brilliant. All right, boys. Listen, thanks very much for that. And remember, if you want to be a guest pundit just like Craig has been today, it's dead easy. Drop us a DM on Twitter, Facebook, or pop us an email to pundit@falkirkdaft.co.uk.
This is Falkirk Daft
with Haldane Construction Services.
So it's a wee break from league business as our next opponent is the quarter-final of the Trust Trophy. It's on the TV. It's Friday night. It's a 7:40 kickoff. Very random. It is us against one of the other unbeaten teams in the league. It's Dundee United, who are going good guns under Jim Goodwin.
They are. Yeah, they're doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at, they're like a bit like us as well, because they've got Wraith Rovers are hanging in there, by the way. They've got a game in hand and they're 4 points off, but they've got a game in hand. So Wraith Rovers are really hanging in there, and they certainly seem to be going really well this season under Ian Murray Wraith. But Dundee United, like I say, I didn't watch the game against Dunfermline on Friday night. It was on the telly, but I spoke to my mate who's a Dunfermline supporter, and he was saying, yeah, they thought Dunfermline felt a wee bit hard done by, but I think he said just Dundee United, it's their league to lose, really, because they're flying.
Yeah. I think it probably will be, mate. As you said, the Wraith, like Hamilton, with us, they're sticking in there. There's not much points, and I think if looking at the table, if Wraith win their game in hand, there's only a point in it. So, but no, listen, Dundee United are a really, really well organised team now. The starting 11 that they've put together is like us, it picks itself. Whether they make some changes though, and I don't want to put the competition down, because I love personally I love the Challenge Cup. However, I do think they will make changes to their starting 11 on Friday night. Their bench will probably get a run out, but then we will as well. Lawal will likely start. Jordan Allen will likely start. Mackie will get a start at either left back or left centre half. I'm not sure which. Probably left back. Yeats, I'll need to stay at right back though, because Bisland.
Of course, he'll be cup tied. Of course, he will be.
Yeah. He won't be allowed to play.
But they've got some, looking down their squad, they've got some good players in there. Declan Gallagher, Scotland international. Do you know what I mean? Louis Moult, Kai Fodringham. Obviously, he's flying this season with them. Obviously, we had him on loan at the club earlier in his career, but he seems to be flying. 7 goals for him for the season. And this boy Kevin Holt seems to be scoring.
Did you see the celebration from his goal on Friday night though?
No, I didn't know.
He obviously scored, and he's a Falkirk fan, isn't he? So he ran right over to the Dunfermline Ultras.
Was Kai Fodringham actually a Falkirk supporter?
Yeah, he's from Larbert apparently.
I
do you remember when we played them in the summer? I made a point of having a go, saying he was obviously on loan at Falkirk, and there wasn't any bad blood when he was here or left or anything like that. And when he scored against us in July, he made a point of kind of running over to the Ultras and
Sibs had told him off, didn't he?
And Sibs had given him a bit of row in the park. But as it turns out, a lot of his mates are in the Ultras, so that was why he over, because they'd obviously been bamming him up during maybe pre-game or during the game, and but yeah, he ran right over to the
Ultras. So he's done it. That's fair enough. That's brilliant. He's went over to his mates and sort of said, "Ha, get up." But good to know he's a Falkirk supporter. And listen, if he's scored against Dunfermline and ran up to the Dunfermline supporters doing that, well done, Kai. Love that work. And obviously, you mentioned Sibs there as well. Sibs is there. Tony Watt. I mean, they've got. Even if they bring, we gave them a good game at the stadium. It was just a silly mistake from Tam. Which led to the goal. We gave him a decent enough game. So, I see Archie Meekison obviously getting a game as well, who, had about 5 minutes for us before getting injured. So he's, so they've got, it's going to be a tough game. And it depends. I think I agree with you, Ross. I think he'll rest. I think he'll give some of the kind of fringe players more of a game. I think you'll see Ethan Ross coming in. I think you'll see Agyeman will probably start if he didn't play. Lawal, you can't. I've said it before. You can't play Lawal and Agyeman in the same team. It's just the world will just blow up if that happens.
there's not enough defensive cover there. I think if you play both of them, and I would suggest Agyeman's probably going to start over Lawal if you were picking between the two of them. I do think Lawal will get minutes though, and he's do you know, Ola has a bag of tricks. Where I think everybody agrees where his game lacks is his defensive
tracking back,
back and stuff like that. But in terms of going forward, there's a cracking player there. There really is.
Yeah, although love him. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It really is going to be a tough one. But we're Falkirk. We can do this. What do you think the score's going to be, Ross?
Do you know, it's a tough one to call, John. I'm going to go with your mantra and just listen. Any win will do, and I'll bite your hand off just now for a 1-0 win. I would be happy with that. Lovely.
Yeah, I think it's going to be potential. I think it might. Let's because I'm not in this show. We're never going to predict Falkirk getting beat, are we? We're never going to. We're always going to say it's a Falkirk win. But with that in mind, I think a draw, penalties, and a penalty win. That's. I'll stretch it to that. I'll stretch it to that. Draw and then penalties. And
if we could get through, because wait now, this is the quarters or is this the semi?
Quarters?
That's right, because the semi-final draw's already been made. Yeah. So if we beat Dundee United, this is when we play the winner of either Arbroath or
Airdrie, is it?
No, was it who's the was it TNS or something like that?
It might be. It might
I don't
be.
know if I'm just making all this up, but I remember.
The semi-final draw has been made. Let me just well researched here show this today. Semi-final Trust Trophy draw. Let's have a look. Who we're going to face if we beat Dundee United? It will be. Oh, for God's sake, I've hit the wrong website. Here we go. The draw for the final. Oh God, Trust Trophy semi-final draw. Oh God, I don't know, Ross. I don't know what's happening here, but it has been made, and we will play someone. Hold on. I'm almost there. Right. Should it TNS or Arbroath? No, you're right.
Was I right? Oh,
You're right. So if we beat. If we beat Dundee United, we've got a home game against TNS or Arbroath. There we go.
Good. Well, that's a good incentive because
exactly. I fancy our chances against Arbroath. Certainly fancy our chance against Arbroath, and I don't know what TNS are like. So, but we'll just say we'll be good to them against them and all. So there we go. That's the predictions for the Dundee United game. Remember Friday, 7:40 at Stadium. Hopefully, we'll see you there.
This is Falkirk Daft
with Haldane Construction Services.
And that is it for this week's Falkirk Daft. Thank you very much for listening to a very hungover episode. I'm going to have to go and get a glass of wine to smooth the edges off it, I think. Sit on my Sunday night and sit down.
I think like Craig, I think I'm off it, if I'm being honest.
You're off it. But you're in hospitality again. Shock horror for the Dundee United game, Ross.
Yeah. I don't necessarily have to have a drink, though, because it's not full-on hospitality on Friday night.
Who are you going with this time?
I'm actually going with a Dundee United fan.
Right.
So the pair of us will be there, and and our family are United fans as well. So I'm hoping it's me that's got the one-upmanship come 9:25, which is the most random time to finishing. On a Friday night, so yeah, I'm hoping it's me that's got the bragging rights.
I do like the idea, however. I think who was it that suggested this, Ross? That we get you to review prawn sandwiches.
Someone said it. I can't remember who said it.
But I do like this idea. So every week on the show, you review a prawn sandwich. So we got, you do the Tesco one, we do the Sainsbury's one, we do the Boots one, and we just get you to review prawn sandwiches. I quite like this. Maybe get it sponsored by one of the local cafes, like Bert and Bob's could sponsor it, or one of the local cafes in the town, and you review prawn sandwiches. What about that?
Bert and Bob, my God, is this the level we're coming to for content? Jesus. Well, listen, if somebody wants to make this happen, but I'm not actually a huge fan of prawn sandwiches. This is
what do you go for in your meal deal?
But I'm really boring. I would go for like a wee ham sandwich or something like that.
That's boring.
That's boring, but no, yeah.
Do you know what I do in a meal deal? And this is, I try and see what the most expensive meal deal I can get and how much money I can save. See if you want a cheat code, by the way, Sainsbury's and Larbert, right, here's your cheat code, right? You can get a coffee, you can get, what did I get today? I got a coffee, a croissant and a turkey sandwich, because the Christmas sandwiches are out now, by the way. I love a wee Christmas sandwich. So I got that. You know how much I saved, Ross, on my meal deal? £3.95. Who's winning life? Who is winning life? £3.50 for the meal deal. Coffee, croissant, and a sandwich. Boom! In your face, Sainsbury's.
Are you not meant to have like a packet of crisps or a chocolate bar?
No, you play the system, Ross. You play the Sainsbury's meal deal system. You get a snack, that's your croissant. You get your hot drink, which normally costs £3.30. But if you put in a meal deal, £3.50. So basically you're getting your sandwich and you're getting your croissant for 20p.
God, you can tell you're from Kinnaird Village with a croissant on a Sunday, aren't you? Get a rolling square down you.
Right, okay, that's it for Falkirk Daft. Give us your meal deal cheats. Or have you ever seen Rate My... A whole different avenue is Rate My Meal Deal. Go and check that out online. It's absolutely brilliant. But please subscribe, rate, review us on Apple, Spotify. Subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe. We should start doing YouTube stuff like unboxing things. Like, see when we got the Heritage Top, we should have done an unboxing of the Heritage Top thing, and which is basically just ripping off the plastic. We should have done that. But there you go. You can do all that. Check out us on YouTube. Listen, Christmas is coming up as well. And do you know what your loved one wants? Some Falkirk Daft merch. That's what they want. We'll put out all the links. The links are below. Check out our range of Falkirk Daft merch. Listen, Santa's going to be good. He's good. That's what they want. That's what all the kids want. They just want their Falkirk Daft merch. You know, forget these PlayStation 5s and everything. Falkirk Daft merch is where it's at. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, full shebang, dog bandanas, which I love, baby grows with Falkirk Daft on it. If you're having the baby Jesus, even maybe have one. I'm talking shite now, I really need to get going. But yeah, Falkirk Daft merch, get it now, merch.falkirkdaft.co.uk. That is merch.falkirkdaft.co.uk. I'm sure we've got lots of offers coming up on the website for that. So get it for your Christmas, get it for your loved ones. And like I say, every penny we make off the merch goes back into the club one way or the other. Normally because Ross agrees to basically sponsor everything on behalf of the podcast.
Not just me that does that though, John.
Right, okay, I did say when Tamang's Heritage Top came on, right, we're definitely sponsoring that. So yes, merch.falkirkdaft.co.uk. And thanks again to Haldane Construction. Peter, hopefully he's not as hungover as we are. And thanks to his wife Marie for coming back last night once again. Right, thank you very much for listening to Falkirk Daft. Dundee United is next. A nice little break from the league, because that's actually 2 weeks without the league, because we've got the Scottish Cup and the Trust Trophy, so it's quite a nice. It feels the pressure's a wee bit off. Do you know what I mean? We want to do well, certainly in the Scottish Cup, because we want to get money for the club, and I fancy our chances against Formartine, I have to say. But you know, like, I guess every game we want to win, but it's just a little less pressure. I feel I'm a little, the next couple of weeks I'm a wee bit like
so we don't over our shoulder.
Exactly.
So we might keep a wee eye on, see if they get any injuries or sendings off.
Fingers crossed. Great. All right. Okay. Till next time then.
Expect the unexpected.